Oh, I'm back. I'm back. I know it's been a while since we've done the garage making stuff stream. I've been on the computer a lot lately, but I'm back. Got some orders in. Gonna make them and just talk about random stuff that I feel like that's going on in the world. If you know, let's see what is going on in the world that I saw today that I thought was super interesting. I saw that, at least of today, anyways. Okay, keep this in mind. This today. Today is, I believe, the 20. What is today? Sorry, what is today? Today's the 24th. Okay, 24th of April. Stock market's up because Trump says that he is going to possibly, keep this in mind, possibly back down on tariff talk. So we'll see how that goes. I, the other thing that I saw in the news today that I thought was super interesting was I think yesterday, Tesla earnings, came out and whatnot, right? And it was down like 70%. 72, it was like 72%. That's wild. 72%. I think just imagine if you lost, like you're doing your job, right? Just imagine if you just lost 72% of your paycheck. That's wild. Anyways, so because of that came out, Tesla stock is like dying. But then Elon came out and said like, hey, I'm gonna be possibly going back to spending more time managing Tesla and whatnot, and less time at Doge. And I just found that super funny because like a big part of why Tesla stocks fell to begin with is people's hatred of Elon, right now. At least right now, people used to love Elon. I loved Elon before he went all, I don't know, what's going on with him. Anyways, I just thought that was an interesting move, right? That Tesla stocks are down, right, and earnings are down. People are hating Tesla right now, and it's a lot part of how public or that Elon's becoming lately. And I just thought it was interesting that the solution that he came up with was that he was going to spend more time at Tesla, right? But that's the reason. That's a big part. He's the biggest part of why the stocks are down. No, like if he didn't do the whole Doge thing. I mean, he could have done the Doge thing and just not be public about it, right? Just be in the shadows. Probably what the rest of them do, like just you think about like Zuckerberg, right? He has some sway, but he's not out there publicly, um, like making announcements and whatnot, being at all the pressers, being in the Oval Office and whatnot. Like Elon could have done that too. So I just thought it was interesting that the solution to fix Tesla was for him to spend more time at Tesla. And then this is the part where I feel like stock market is just like completely fake and just random, right? Because it's obvious to a lot of people that Elon is the problem, right? Of why Tesla is going down. And so he announces that he is gonna be stepping back from his role at Doge, which at the same time is not a real announcement because um, legally and contractually, since Elon is considered a special employee or whatnot, they are there for a limited time, and his time is coming up. Anyway, so the plan for was always for him to be leaving around this time or stepping back around this time. So that's nothing new. But this is the part where I found very funny is that so we know that the reason Tesla's not doing very well is because of Elon's political stance, right? Because Tesla, the people that own Teslas are usually more left leaning, right? The right leaning people usually don't buy Teslas. Or at least they think it's like they don't think it's manly, you know? It doesn't seem like it's a cool car to them. Or maybe it is a cool car, they just don't want to admit it. Yeah, so it's just like he's alienating his customer base. Right, but here's my issue, right? Damage is done. Him coming back doesn't solve anything. And in fact, actually, to me, it makes it worse. And that's obvious to just everyday normal people. And this is where I feel like the stock market is just random. And this is, in a way, this is why I don't hold a lot of stocks. Is that when he announced that he's going to be spending more time at Tesla, the stock went up like 7% or something like that. Since, keep in mind, this is since I'm recording this live right now. On the 24th, it went up. So that's the part that doesn't make any sense to me. And this is why I hate stocks so much. Because I think I've told this story before where like I had some stocks and some good news came out, like the company broke record sales or something, and no one's ever done this before, record sales, and then the stock goes down. Tesla stock is going down, and we know it's because of Elon, right? People are hating him, and he's associated with Tesla, and there's like a whole boycott thing going on because of him. And then he announces that he's going to be spending more time at Tesla now and less time at Doge. Stock goes up. It boggles me. And as of today, stock market is up because Trump said that they're going to possibly reach a deal with China soon. And again, I just think that's silly that the market reacted this way to this news because alright, make sure this order is correct. Alright. One time I got distracted and I made the wrong order and I had to remake it. Nothing hurts more than having to remake a order. Okay, I gotta make sure it's right too. Because another time I messed up and I got these names. Alright, make sure they're right. Okay. Gotta make sure it's right. Bella. Check mark. Alright. So you guys see the design before it goes on. This is Bella and Bew. These are flippy floppy. Alright. Twinsy onesies. Alright. And again, I keep saying, I like to make pairs of stuff because why sell one thing? Because you could easily just make one of these onesies and just put, Bew, right? Or whatever the kid's name is. Why make one thing? Why sell one thing when you can sell two things? That's the logic there. Okay, that's why we make pairs of stuff. Anyways, what were we talking about? Oh, stock market. Oh, the Trump tariffs stuff. I know we talk about it all the time, but again, I keep saying that's what's on the news right now, and that's what we're going to talk about. If you guys find something else that's in the news that you want to talk about, we could talk about that. Okay. I find it crazy that it's right there. Please. Oh, here it is. All right. So he announced that he possibly has to do it. Now, this is the part I hate. Okay, is he said possibly we might possibly have a deal. That's that that doesn't provide me with the most confidence, to be honest, because it's like this is what he does all the time, and it's like he breaks something and halfway fixes it, and then everyone's like, "Great job!" It happens every time. So I think that's interesting. We'll see how that goes, because I know, and I've said this before, and I've been telling a lot of people this. The current path we're in is unsustainable for both sides, not just in America, in China as well, because I have a lot of friends that are in manufacturing in China, like big operation, right? I mean, I'm just in my garage, but then again, this is just something I do. And they are having to shut down their factories because as as much as the bigger game China talks, they need us at the same time we need them. Selling to the other countries is just not as profitable as selling to America, and it's something that I've been thinking about a lot lately. And in a way, I kind of hate it a lot. I hate that idea that selling to other countries is not as profitable as selling to Americans. Because to me, it actually what I think about when I hear that is that they just want us for our wallets. It doesn't matter who you are. You're just a big wallet to them, right? Like I mentioned this last time when I heard like on CNN or whoever that they're like, oh, they need the American consumer, right? And I'm like, yeah, but that's me, that's you. And so they're like talking to us like we're the commodity, right? The American consumer. And I'm like, but I don't want to buy your stuff, you know? But it's like, oh, you need us to buy stuff. How much stuff do you really need? Is what I'm thinking about a lot. Where it's like we spend so much time buying like just random things all the time. Newest iPhone comes out, oh, you gotta have it. Um, there's a new there's a new type of, I don't know, blender that's a little bit better than your other blender. Gotta have it. You know what? You need a blender and you need a milk frother, right? And it's like, well, maybe you don't really need the milk frother, but no, you gotta have it. And so yeah, I have a lot of friends. They're shutting down their factories in China because they don't have enough customers, um, and that's a problem that they have as well because they've built these big, massive empires, right? And then you're supposed to have a certain amount of customers to maintain it. But if without us, because the Europeans don't buy as much as Americans do. All right, this is the other onesie right here. I lava you. I lava you. The onesies today. The other countries don't buy as much as we do. It's just a fact. It doesn't matter if you want to tap it. They're like, oh, we could always just sell to the other countries. They don't buy as much as Americans do. We just love random things. Gotta have it. Like, I saw this thing and it was like in Europe. I'm trying to think about how am I gonna say this, but there's this interesting idea that oh maybe I don't know if you guys have been on the internet lately, but I Show Speed, went to China and kind of showed the world another side of China, like maybe through his lens, which is great. Because I wanted to be like a great wake up call for a lot of Americans. This just to see what it's like over there, because a lot of people that haven't traveled a lot think that America is like doing great. But when you actually start traveling around and you see different parts of the world and you experience different things, you it kind of opens your eyes more. That's why traveling a lot with your kids is very important, at least early on, so that you can get their eyes open. Because usually, how do you hate somebody if you ate their food before? How do you hate somebody if you like see where they live? Like that's the kind of the idea, right? So a lot of these people, they haven't been out there, they don't know anything, right? And especially if you're like stuck in some uh like rural area, or like you know what I'm trying to say, that's just like stuck in time. And in a way, this is what I'm trying to get to. We are just in America. We are just maybe like 20, 30 years behind where Europe is right now. Europe is stuck in the past. They're, they do everything old school way, right? In a way, that's why they don't buy as much stuff. They still walk to the market. They don't drive to the market. They walk to the market. The streets are old. Sewer system is back in medieval times. Like, um, so in Europe, they're stuck in their time, old school. They have old buildings, old traditions, old whatever, right? But imagine this, right? And then comes America. We were the developing country, and we developed and we built newer things than in Europe. China views us that way right now, actually. Like, just think, like take yourself out of your shoes, right, and just look at it from a different point of view. Because in a way, we view Europe as old. They're like those old, dusty buildings, old everything, right? We're America. We're new, right? They were a superpower. We took over. We are the superpower, right? Well, right now, in China's point of view, right, we're old. I don't know if you guys thought about that at all, because back when they were developing, they didn't have cities and skyscrapers and whatnot, right? But now they do, and they're modernly built. These are new things that they have: new streets, new buildings. Um, that's why it looks so advanced. When you go to a big city, now, if you go to a small city, you're gonna run into old stuff too, right? But their new buildings are new, so it's just way more modern. And since they are, all right, easy peasy, queen and king, couple shirts, extra large, extra large. So like they have like new things, and if you tear everything down, maybe, you know what I was thinking? Maybe LA, since the fire, maybe they rebuild new, right? Because that's kind of what happens. I have to make one more. When things get built again, it's new. I don't know where you guys are, but here's a good example. Like in your city, there's probably an old town, right? And then there's the new. I call them soda pops, because I saw an episode of South Park when I was a kid, and that's what they called them, little soda pops. And what those are these planned shopping centers, right? And then you look at Old Town, and you look at one of these planned shopping centers, and you just see the difference. Like Old Town, wherever city you're in, there's usually an Old Town, and those are like the original. That's usually Main Street, like the original buildings and whatnot. And a soda pop would basically be, they're usually navy colored, like they're kind of like multicolored buildings. They're square. They're always square, because that's just the most efficient way that they could build them. Efficiently built, it always has, and in these plazas, always have the same stores, no matter where you are. I don't know, maybe it's a California thing, but every time I see one of these soda soap pop, like pop up, they always have the same stores inside them. There's always the Panera. There's always there's like a Panera place. There's always a pizza place. There's usually some sort of grocery store at some point. Like it's just, I just think it's very interesting because I remember we were just driving through recently, and then I saw a soda soap pop. We were looking for a Panera, and then I was like, "There's definitely a Panera in there." And then my wife's like, "What, really?" And I was like, "Yeah, I guarantee you, this soda soap pop has a Panera." And then we popped in, and bam, a Panera. The reason why we're looking for Panera is because Panera right now has a Sip Club deal. I don't know if it's like everywhere, but that's a great deal. For $10 a month, you can get a drink every 2 hours. So basically, what we do is every 2 hours or so, or maybe in the morning, and then at night we'll get something. There's just one near us. And so yeah, yep. Okay, what were we talking about? Got lost in making stuff. Oh yeah, tariffs. That's what we were talking about. So supposedly, there could be some easing here. Now, I feel like it's not going to go back to what it was before. That's for sure. Because that would be insane. If it goes back to what it was before, that means we did this whole thing for absolutely no reason. You know what I'm trying to say? Because that means that this whole thing got broken for absolutely no reason. So it's definitely, this is the part of the stock market that I don't understand, okay? So he announces that, you know, there's a deal coming soon, right? But the funny part to that as well is that there are some reports that are saying that there have been no talks because nobody wants to make the first move, because whoever makes the first move seems like they're the one that needs the other person more. So they're both doing this high school thing where they're like, I'm not gonna call him, he's gonna call me thing. And I think that's pretty funny. But it's not gonna go back to the way it was. Right? Because this is this is where I'm saying the stock market is so silly to me. Okay, so let's go through the time of events a little bit. Trump announces the Liberation Day, right? And then the investors got scared and stocks went down, right? And then Liberation Day came out and stocks went down even more because it was worse than everyone thought it was going to be, right? Because he came out with the clipboard and it was like this, and it was terrible. And so stocks went down, right? And then what happened? And then he came out and he said that, hey, I'm gonna actually put some things are not gonna be tariffed at all. Stocks went up, and then he comes out and he's like, you know, like he's basically doing market manipulation kind of things, right? Where it's like some people knew ahead of time that he was gonna do the relief on some things, right? And they bought stocks. Like, it's pretty simple because he kind of like teased it, and then like a few hours later he kind of like made the full on announcement, right? And I feel like it's the same thing happening right now, where he's saying there's a possible deal, right? The stocks are going up. And what I always wonder about this stuff is like how far in advance that he knew, or people in government know, that there's a possible deal, and what stocks did they buy beforehand. And so and the other thing is, people make money on the stock market up or down. I think people are always so focused on, stocks going up. No one ever thinks about shorting stocks. But yeah, people make money on stocks going up or down. And I guarantee you what's gonna happen is right now stock market is up. When the real announcement comes out, it's gonna be worse than what people thought. Stock's gonna go down, and then there's gonna be some sort of correction. Stock goes back up. But in that window there, how much money was made? Is what I always think about. Alright, this is the last one. Then I gotta go inside and do some other packing stuff. Poop. What else is going on? Yes, last one. Dunsies. Whoever ordered these hoodies, your order is done. The last one. Alright. Last order's done. Thank you for, if you listened to everything I said, wonderful. If not, see you next time. Maybe something better will come up.